Welcome to this video. My name is Pedro Rodrigues Ribeiro. I'm a psychologist from Portugal, and I also teach and practice hypnosis in the clinical context. And in this video, I would like to tell a story, the story of one of the dark sides of hypnosis. As hypnosis grows in popularity and also clinical research efficacy, more people are starting to develop an interest in hypnosis. First, it starts with curiosity, and then it can start with people getting into courses and into hypnosis training, and eventually utilize it in research or clinical practices. As someone who starts to get into hypnosis, they quickly realize that hypnosis has some dark sides or some dark aspects. Those aspects really condition the perspective and the view that clinicians have towards hypnosis and towards the utilization of hypnosis in clinical practice. One of the dark sides of hypnosis, in my view, is the utilization of hypnosis in entertainment and shows, street shows. What is commonly known as street hypnosis or entertainment hypnosis. Entertainment hypnosis can be a show, can be a stage show, can be a television show, can be a demonstration show. It could be a lot of things. The main difference is that hypnosis is utilized in some form of another of entertainment. What I mean about entertainment is that hypnosis is not utilized to show an image of a truly therapeutical tool. Its utilization is more in means of getting high ratings and getting people interest in something that they can associate with magic, esotericism, or the occult, for instance. I would like to explain to you some of the secrets of stage hypnosis or street hypnosis, since there are some common factors. First, I would like to give you a brief introduction of how stage hypnosis and street hypnosis develop. In early interactions, in early history, people or stage performers or street performers utilize mesmerism as something, as some form of entertainment. The utilization of mesmerism in carnivals and circus really really started a trend into what was passed on to hypnosis. That trend happened to be had a period of time that was interrupted. It was James Braid that initially saw a carnival performance of mesmerism and started to develop an interest into those kind of processes. Since Braid, hypnosis was not utilized in street or stage performances. Hypnosis was utilized by physicians, by truly physicians, and that in those years there wasn't psychologists. Psychology wasn't there, so it hasn't been created. It hadn't been created. So physicians utilized hypnosis in their practices, namely Braid, Hippolyte Bernheim, Antoine Libidinot, Jean-Martin Charcot, Joseph Breuer, and Sigmund Freud. So, what happened? Freud happened. That phrase could be a meme. Yeah, Freud happened. Please, if you pick up the phrase and really create a t-shirt or an image and put on the phrase Freud happened, give me some of the credits, some of the revenues, please. But all jokes aside, Freud was a major influence in putting hypnosis into the mainstream, and then to destroy hypnosis as a credible approach to psychotherapy and to therapy. Because when Freud and Breuer, but especially Freud, conceptualized what was psychoanalysis and the main interventions of psychoanalysis, Freud refuted the use of hypnosis because it couldn't develop the answers that he was interested in. Hypnosis generated counter-transference and possibly sexual interactions, and also Freud was not very talented in the use of hypnosis. With all those reasons and more, Freud started a campaign towards the end, or towards the not using hypnosis into psychoanalysis, into therapy. Now, there were a lot of people, a lot of analysts, a lot of psychoanalysts who continued to utilize hypnosis in clinical practice. However, there were but a few, and some of them were at war with Freud. So it wasn't a terrific scenario for hypnosis. As the years went by, hypnosis was starting to be replaced by pharmacological interventions, mainly chloroforming, because hypnosis was a tool especially a tool to pain management in surgeries, in medical interventions. As chloroform grow in popularity and the pharmaceutical weight on the doctors, chloroform was the main intervention, the main use towards pain management. So hypnosis started to disappear. Hypnosis had a second wave of resurgence in the First and Second World Wars. The main reason was the development of shell shock, or what nowadays is called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. In that time, it was well known that hypnosis was a good intervention to PTSD and shell shock. So a lot of physicians had training into hypnosis to intervene in shell shock or PTSD. However, before we get to that part, in the years that Freud bashed hypnosis and the First and Second World War, hypnosis was picked up by stage and street performers, as mesmerism was before. So that started the tradition of utilizing hypnosis into entertainment, into performance. And nowadays, unfortunately, a lot of countries continue to have those kind of shows and stage performers. In Portugal, for example, there were some people that really tried to implement stage and street hypnosis. It's not as popular as, for example, in the United States, in England, or whatever. If you are familiar with the work of Darren Brown, the famous English mentalist, you know that Darren Brown utilizes hypnosis in his performance acts, as many mentalists utilize hypnosis. So, stage and street hypnosis is a thing, and is a dark side of hypnosis, because street and stage hypnosis do not transmit the correct idea of hypnosis, especially in the clinical and research sense. So, what is a stage hypnotist? Well, a stage hypnotist is first and foremost a performer, an artist. So the main objective, the main intervention of the stage hypnotist is to entertain. So the use of hypnosis is for entertainment purposes. It's not for healing, it's not for therapy, it's not for change, it's for entertainment purposes, for people to laugh, for people to enjoy the evening, etc. What stage and street hypnosis often says is that, well, our shows really demonstrated and showed the idea that hypnosis can be a valuable tool for change. No, they don't. What they show is someone that is responding to suggestions in a certain stage routine towards, for example, seeing everybody naked, smashing a cake into their face whenever they hear a certain sound or a certain trigger, when they act like another person or an animal. So no, they don't show truly the value of hypnosis in clinical practice. It's not because someone does those things in stage performances that a person can think that hypnosis is a wonderful tool for change. Sorry, but no. But I digress. So, the main focus of the stage hypnotist is to entertain. In that entertainment, they establish routines. Some routines might show someone that can stick their hand to a wall, to a table, something. They can put on a pair of glasses and see everyone naked. They the hypnotist can shoot in a hypnotic gun and the subject or the person drops immediately into hypnosis, etc. They, as I said, they can smash a cake into their faces whenever they hear a sound or some kind of trigger. So it's the most common stage hypnosis demonstration is the human bridge, an act that suspends a person in two chairs, only into two chairs, and the person can stay there in the strict position, unable to bend, and it's what they call the human bridge. But there's a trick. I'll explain it later. So, now we know what is the purpose of stage hypnosis. Does everyone can everyone be a participant in the stage performances? No. What happens before the stage show? Well, before the stage, if the stage performance is recorded or if it's a show, this process can happen when the cameras are not recording. If it's a stage performances, this process can happen right in the beginning of the show. What the stage hypnotist does is to select the people that have the most probability to be a highly suggestible subject. We know from research based that there are certain individuals that we call highly suggestible subjects, or as Hilgard named them, virtuosos. What does that mean? Is that those those subjects can respond to every hypnotic phenomena with ease and in a spectacular way, a very visual way. They are truly remarkable subjects. And we know that when we have a large group, it's possible that we can encounter some highly suggestible subjects. So, the stage hypnotist develops specific tasks to select those highly suggestible persons that can't be in the group. Those tasks are called suggestibility tests. For example, the magnetic fingers, the magnetic hands, the light and heavy hands, whatever. Those suggestibility tasks shows us how a person responds to suggestion, and it gives us an idea if the person is truly highly suggestible or not. If they're not, the stage hypnotists politely discard those people because he doesn't want them. He only wants the highly suggestible persons or subjects. Why? Because probabilistically they have the higher probability to respond to every suggestion, to every routine. And the stage hypnotist wants success. They don't want failure. They don't want the embarrassment of having someone that doesn't respond to a certain routine. The show fails. So they only have the highly suggestible subjects. So whenever you see a stage performance or a street performance, probably what you are seeing is a highly suggestible subject. Which is previously selected by the hypnotist. So, after the selection, we have to realize one special characteristic. The stage context, in terms of really conformity to norms, to obedience, for example, the stage context creates a way of excusing someone to do certain kind of things. For example, if you are an introverted or an extroverted person, the stage context gives you an excuse to really go wild, because it is what is expected of you. Because the stage context excuses those kind of behaviors. It justifies those kind of behaviors. In no other context you can act like a chicken or like a dog. Well, he or she is goofing off. They are enrolling in the show. That behavior is clearly justified by the situation. They are role-playing. They are enacting a specific role. And that helps not only the routines, but also the show. And the stage hypnotist knows that. He isn't stupid. So, not only he chooses the highly suggestible subjects, he chooses the ones that he knows that can't go on with the routine, that can't have those kind of behaviors, and they felt good in doing that. It's justified. After that, and this can happen right before the show, the hypnotist hypnotizes the group, the couple of subjects that he selects. Normally, it's a prolonged induction, 20-30 minutes, and after the induction, the hypnotist deepens the process, and he installs a post-hypnotic suggestion. That suggestion is something like this. Whenever he suggests the subject to go into hypnosis, he can go into that state very rapidly and effortlessly whenever he suggests the state of hypnosis, or a specific trigger like slapping the fingers, or a clap, or a certain word is a post-hypnotic suggestion, is a command to go into hypnosis. After that conditioning, the subjects go into the stage or into the show, the television show, and what the hypnotist only has to do is to reinduce hypnosis. Because the subjects are already in the hypnotic state, the hypnotist only has to do is to trigger the state again. What does that mean is that he can say a specific word, or snapping his fingers, or do a rapid or shock induction, and the subject goes, or the subject enters the hypnotic state again. And then the routine is established. They all do funny things, yabba yabba yabba, all those kind of things. What can be spectacular visually is when the hypnotist suggests amnesia. What does suggesting amnesia is a way for people to not access the information, the memory information that they have about doing specific routine. Or, for example, someone is finishing on hitting with their faces with a cake, or seeing someone naked. Okay. When the hypnotist finish with the routine and they apply a suggestion to wave off those effects, they can suggest amnesia. What does it mean? The subject won't remember what they experienced before the hypnotist gives them a command or a stimulus for them to remember again. It's It can be a spectacular effect, a visual spectacular effect. Now, what you have to remember is when hypnosis is presented in television, in TV shows, there are recordings. So what you are seeing is edited. You are not seeing the whole thing. You are seeing something that it's very successful. And please remember, every time a hypnotist is invited to go into a show, they already know exactly what they are doing and what they are presenting. So they can select some people before the show starts. So it's planned, it's staged. The main difference between stage hypnosis and street hypnosis and the clinical practice of hypnosis is that in clinical practice, in clinical settings, you don't know who arrives at your office, at your session place. You don't know them. So you can be in front of a highly suggestible person. You can be in front of someone who hypnosis does not work, or it's not indicated as a clinical practice. You can meet a person which happens to be in the depressive state or anxiety state, and you have to manage those states. Remember, stage hypnosis and street hypnosis does not mean clinical practice. Their objective, their intent is not to help people, it's not to cure people, it's simply to entertain. So no therapeutical process or therapeutical image is transported in stage or street hypnosis. They don't represent the clinical application of hypnosis. Unfortunately, because stage and street hypnosis is quite popular in some countries, and especially the poor use of hypnosis in media, especially in TV shows, the misconception of hypnosis as an effective clinical tool is continuously engaged by these kind of things, by shows, by TV shows, by street performances, whatever. And this is one of the reasons why hypnosis is or continues to have a poorly image, especially in health settings, in certain mental health professions like psychology, psychiatry, or other health professions, for example, medicine or nurturing. So please excuse me because this video was extremely long, but I felt the need to explain to you what is stage hypnosis, what is street hypnosis, or one last thing. I totally forgot about the human bridge performance. So, quickly, what is the human bridge? The effect of one person be suspended into two chairs rigidly without moving. But there's a trick. All people who don't have any clinical or any medical problems, and they are in reasonable fit shape, can do this effect. Because when you put someone in that specific situation, with the necks supporting in the chair and the legs supporting in the other chair, the body automatically goes in that position. It's a physiological trick or physiological state. What the suggestion does is to reinforce that state and to reinforce the phenomena of catalepsy. That's why the person visually doesn't bend and has a tremendous strength, but is only a trick. Everyone who doesn't have medical issues and it's in a reasonable fit state can do that, and especially reinforced by catalepsy. What is dangerous is to put someone on top of the suspended person, because it could originate a lot of medical problems. Regarding the strength of the suggestion, regarding the strength of the person, they eventually can bend. So it's very dangerous to do that. But visually impressive as it may, it has a trick, as to a lot of stage performances processes. So now that I explained it to you, I wish you a good week. I wish you to continue to be safe and healthy. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.